The LAIR is directed by Neil Marshall, the director of such genre hits as The Descent and Dog Soldiers. But he also directed The Last Hellboy and The Reckoning, two films that I don't think hold a candle to his earlier work. How does The LAIR fare? Let's take a look. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. The LAIR is now streaming on Shudder. It's directed by Neil Marshall and written by Charlotte Kirk and Neil Marshall. British Air Force pilot Lieutenant Kate Sinclair, played by Charlotte Kirk, is shot down over Afghanistan and fleeing from enemy fire. She makes her way into an abandoned underground bunker housing what seems to be genetic experiments. These creatures, advanced through mad science and maybe alien intervention, go on a rampage against both Allied and Afghan soldiers, leaving Lieutenant Sinclair and a select few soldiers to take on the beasts head-on in their own lair. Sadly, the setup for The LAIR is more interesting than the film itself. The opening scrawl claims that back at the beginning of Trump's stay in office, when he dropped a Moab, the mother of all bombs, on Afghanistan, it wasn't just the president flexing for the world. It was dropped because of a bunker full of Russian alien mutant hybrids, run amok. I love alternate history takes like that, and was hoping this one would be an entertaining spin on real-life events. Instead, The LAIR is one of those films that I hope realizes how ridiculous it is. I hope it does, but I honestly don't know if it does. The characters are cliched and boiled down to one or two basic face value qualities. Their dialogue is horribly uninspired and feels like the script barely got a first pass. The acting feels like the actors are making fun of the action genre with over-the-top machoisms, and all of them acting like they are saying their lines with a dialect that is not the one they were born with. The Brits sound like guys from Brooklyn. The Irish feel like they learned their dialect from watching Mike Myers skits on SNL. The Americans sound like they have only seen an American on TV. There's an over-the-top gung-ho major who's trying desperately to be Brad Pitt in Inglourious Basterds, so much so that it feels like parody. Nothing behind this film involving the military makes me feel like any research or any genuine feeling was made in making it feel real, which is sad coming from the filmmaker who brought us the truly gritty soldiers in Dog Soldiers. On top of that, the monsters are not that special either. They're basically mutated in lumpy Venom costumes, all teeth and tongues, but obviously a man in an ill-fitting monster suit. There's only one interesting aspect of the creatures, which is the ability to literally suck the brainwaves out of their victims with their extended tongues. Their durability works only when necessary, but most of the time simple bullets do the trick at killing them, unless a jump scare from a seemingly dead monster is needed. The creatures just don't compare to the truly horrifying cave creatures in The Descent or the inspired werewolf designs in Dog Soldiers. Filmmaker Neil Marshall seems to be suffering from Rob Zombie P.T. Anderson syndrome, where he has to cast his girlfriend, Charlotte Kirk, as the lead and also give her a writing credit in all of his films. Kirk is by far the least troublesome aspect of The LAIR. She's capable at action, yet has a sort of blank stare that seems to be cemented onto her face. His last two films have basically been vehicles trying to sell her as the next big thing, but he just doesn't complete the deal. Everything that made Dog Soldiers and The Descent so special is absent from The LAIR. It might be a parody, but lacks that comical punch to show that the insight is there. Strong themes of brotherhood and sisterhood are nowhere to be found in the cardboard soldiers we get here. The cast pales in comparison to the gritty soldiers or adventurous women from his previous hits. I was hoping this would be a new classic on par with the other entries in his resume, but Marshall has been on a downward slide recently. The LAIR is evidence of that. Not a recommend.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. decide that we are the